All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for another huge show here. Coming up for Colory Championship Wrestling. It's going to take place next Saturday. It's another sold out show. We knew that was going to happen because it's always been the case for our friends in CCW to get the job done for that. And it's going to be a 10-person battle royal memorial for our very good friend, our fallen brother, who we're going to give a shout out to in a minute. But before we get to that, we have to talk with the man that has always been one of the premier topics on Sportswire Radio over the past nearly 2 years. He is the former underground champion of the world. He is the pit bull, and especially when it comes to a tribal cheese and a cheddar to the table. When we saw what happened last month at Fighter Strike 3 in that Colory Rumble, something tells me here this time the pit bull is going to look to make sure he's the one that eliminates the tribal cheese and looks forward to a huge 2024 ahead. But before we get to that and get to next week's show, it's time, even on Valentine's Day, and maybe in a Cupid-like way, he shoots his arrow at the tribal cheese coming up here tonight and gives his side of the story on not only will he eliminate him next weekend, but maybe even find a way to take a championship from the tribal cheese. And I'll talk about that championship here, plus much, much more. But as I stated, it's time to give you that introduction that everybody else has gotten, and especially the tribal cheese got last month when he was on Sportswire Radio. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, the number one level. One more for the road here. Sports Show. The former CCW World Underground Heavyweight Champion. They call him the Pitbull. His name is Iron. My friend, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's. Guess you're Valentine's for the day. Spending me night with you.
We are certainly going to have, I have no doubt, a little bit of fun. You'll maybe even shoot a Cupid's arrow toward the tribal cheese. In fact, I'm even going to open up something here that the tribal cheese gave me that I showed on my last time I was on the air, which was Monday night. And for those that are listening and watching, I know that the tribal cheese is certainly listening and watching. I will open it up for him as well. But before I do anything else, and I say hello to people and certainly wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, if I could for a second, especially for fans of CCW, I'd like to give a moment of silence to a fallen brother and a friend. Today is the 2-year anniversary of the passing of really one of the not founding fathers, but really one of the cornerstones of the early days of CCW, Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy himself. And I know it's a tough day for all of us, especially in the locker room, those that knew him. And I had kind of knew who he was. We never brought him on the show, but we were covering CCW back at that time. So I still remember the day when he passed. And if I could, for those that are listening and watching, please join me in a moment of silence in remembering our fallen brother, Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy, as it's 2 years today that he left this earth. And we certainly want to now have a moment of silence. So please join me in having a moment of silence for Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy. Thank you. Thank you. And obviously, we announced it when Ronnie was on the air on Friday that we are going to induct, obviously, posthumously, and again, I apologize for the mispronunciation on that, but we are going to induct Mr. Carnage in our Hall of Fame next Friday live, actually. So anybody from the locker room is welcome to say a few words with that particular show that we'll have on Sportswire Radio, all of our platforms. Obviously, we'll certainly, I'm sure Ronnie will be on, and anybody else from the locker room who remembered him and his family. And we were in touch with his family, so we really appreciate the fact that they're allowing us to honor him in this way. And I wish that we would have got him on Sportswire Radio. And I think back to the early days of CCW when we were basically a company starting out in a worldwide pandemic, and we were basically having this dream to start our own wrestling company. And he was right there. He was so supportive to so many people in the locker room. Walker, I think of obviously Dustin, I think of Ronnie, I think of Mr. Barris, and everybody was there, and Reverend David Dudes at the time, and just everybody else that was there, and he helped, and he was our guiding light. He's our angel, and we're certainly I know he's with us, and I just want to thank his family for allowing us to do that. But we'll certainly get to that. Ronnie has a show in an hour from so, and I'm sure people from the locker room will talk about that then. But Hybrid the Pitbull. Let's move on to current events. Let's move on to some things that I'm sure you want to get off your chest and maybe shoot a Cupid's arrow or two toward the Tribal Cheese, because last month, Fighter Strike 3, we were watching this Rumble, this 20-person Rumble, to decide the winner gets a championship shot of their choosing. And unfortunately, you came up short at the hands of the Tribal Cheese, our chat of the table. So I'm giving you the opportunity to set the tables for us for next Saturday. CCW Carnage 3 sold out once again. That 10-person battle royal. And this time, it's going to be you, the Tribal Cheese, and 8 other people that are going to be all in the ring together. And I have no doubt you're telling everybody to get the heck out of the way, and you want the Tribal Cheese mano a mano for unfinished business.
Yeah, this is correct. You hit the nail on the head. It's me, the Tribal Cheese, and I wouldn't even say 8 other people. It's 8 other obstacles, 8 other people. It means that they're going to participate and they have an equal chance of winning. They don't. This is going to be straight off the bell, me and Cheese going at it. Anyone else there is collateral.
And I have no doubt that you've thought a lot about since what happened at the Colory Rumble, where he eliminated you. And I think that it's been, as we've spoke a lot, it's not been the last few months that you've wanted. And especially since he's come into CCW, in a way, you and him have been on this crash collision course. And I think now it's going to kind of all come to a head finally at this 10-person battle royal. Obviously, there's a lot on the line here. The winner wins a trophy. Obviously, it's a Mr. Carnage trophy for Sean Duffy. So this is a way to kind of, state your claim that 2024 is not going to be the way you finished 2023. And the Tribal Cheese is going to be somebody that's going to be not like everybody else that's collateral. He's going to be the biggest collateral. He's going to be the Ched-like collateral. You're going to more or less squash the Cheese. You're going to stomp on it. Maybe you'll even take the Cheese off the ground and throw it right back in his face while you're eliminating him. So, Hybrid, I would have to think that this is exactly the way you want to redeem yourself for these past few months, and not only eliminate the Tribal Cheese especially, but win that trophy for Mr. Carnage.
Yeah, so there's a few things I want to touch upon what you've said. First of all, I don't want to give all the props to the Tribal Cheese. If you watch that match, Logan Black had a part in eliminating me. And I've got to say, Logan Black in that match.
Hybrid, I got to be honest. If there's a way you can come back on and re-enter, because we're having a lot of trouble with you right now. Hybrid, I can't hear you actually, and I got to agree with one of our recent comments. You're having a problem right now with your audio and your connection's a little slow. So if you can come back on and re-enter, I would appreciate it because now I can't even hear you. We're losing a little bit of connection here. Hybrid, you're gonna have to if you can restart and come back in because I don't even hear you right now. Even before that, your feed's a little bit slow. So if there's a way you can reboot, come back in, I would love to still continue the conversation because right now I can't even hear you. So if you can while you do that, well, I'm going to send you a message here. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, we're having some technical difficulties right now with the former CCW World Underground Champion Hybrid. If he can come right back on here and basically refix his audio and any Wi-Fi connections he has, please do that for us, champ. And if you're out there and you want to follow CCW, you can do that on Instagram at Cutlery Championship _ Wrestling. Twitter, caps lock, CCW UKNE, YouTube, CCW UK Northeast, also Facebook, Cutlery Championship Wrestling, CCW Coming Out Championship Wrestling. So please make sure you follow all of those platforms here. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. We are patiently waiting for Hybrid to re-upload his connection, and hopefully he can fix that as soon as possible because we are on Sportswire Radio and we want to hear from the Pitbull. And obviously, we're going to certainly reserve judgment here on the AOL 95. I have to ask, does anybody actually have AOL still? I mean, is America Online such a thing? I mean, I'm an American. I was wondering, does anybody still use America Online and AOL 95? I mean, I would have to think that's kind of like for those that maybe if you were in school and you played Oregon Trail or what was it? I guess Where in the World was Carmen Sandiego or one of those games on your learning from a computer for the first time. And the email people still use. Yes, thank you, Jules, for that. But I was wondering, do people actually use the software? And the Tribal Cheese, I'm great. I mean, I was looking forward to speaking with Hybrid, and I have something of yours I want to open, but we're hoping that Hybrid can kind of come back on here and talk about what was on his mind because we had a lot to talk about here and before next week's show, and unfortunately he has some technical difficulties. And I want to say hello also to our buddy from Resurrection Wrestling. They're getting ready for a big show, Joseph Tibbs. We have Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid, coming on here tomorrow night live, I believe 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And actually, Tribal Cheese, hang on tight. Hybrid is here. Hybrid, do you have better connection now? Because we're all waiting for you.
I don't know what. It was working the whole time, and then I started talking. Sod's law. Can you hear us now?
All right, so far you sound good. Let's try to parcel back with this before I say hello to people once again. So as we left off, we were talking about the fact that next Saturday really could be the way to kickstart what could be a big year for you. We started last year. You were the underground champion when you came on here. You ended the year not the way you would have hoped. Certainly at the Cutlery Rumble, Tribal Cheese eliminates you. Certainly there was some outside help, you might want to say. Tell us why you're going to redeem yourself, and tell us why the Tribal Cheese, who also is a champion currently at the moment, that you're going to certainly redeem yourself and shoot an arrow that's going to strike down the Tribal Cheese, especially next Saturday at CCW Carnage 3.
If you look at the Rumble that's just happened, Cheese was battered. He was bruised. I was ragging him round. I showed firsthand that I'm faster, stronger, better, more premier athlete. Some would say I'm greater. I'm the Cheese greater. I'm just. But that being said, he is the comparisons that I've got since he came. It's starting to infuriate us now, and I do have respect for him, and I don't like him. And this, if you asked us for what I want, it's not titles or anything. That Rumble felt to me like a throwaway Rumble. To me, a throwaway, should I say? I have my world title opportunity in my back pocket still. I still haven't had my rematch. This was for a big opportunity, but the Battle Royal coming up actually has some meaning to us. It's for
For Sean.
Like you said, that trophy for Mr. Carnage himself. So I'm not going into this just looking to eliminate the tribal cheese. I'm going into this to win. You've seen firsthand what I can do to him. You've seen how fast my hands are. I'm the most legitimate person in CCW.
Well, I think there's no question that you and him are really the only two, and I'm going to get to more comments in a second, but you and him are really the only two people in the locker room that have that mixed fighting background. You've obviously done mixed martial arts, MMA. He's trained in it. He's also been in the military. He's obviously got a background that you and him are very similar. We've been speaking about this for 6 months. We got a little bit of a taste of what may come this Saturday, last month at the Rumble. But you can look at it from your vantage point. Next Saturday, you might have the advantage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because last time out, it's a Rumble. People come in every 60 seconds, whatever it is, and you kind of just have to go out with it and more or less you're with everybody. It's kind of almost fend for yourself. In this case, though, hybrid, now it's going to be where you and him are in the same ring together, same time. So there's no like, okay, well, somebody else can interfere, or you've got to wait. He's in there longer than you are, or vice versa. It's more, okay, I'm looking at you, and now I know who I want. I've got unfinished business. He's come in here. In a lot of ways, I would even say, Hybrid the Pitbull, you're going to be even further motivated coming up here next Saturday because he's taking your spot. You've talked about the fact that, you've wanted to be the man again. You've talked about the fact with management. You've talked about the fact that you wanted to be front and center. And sure, the Tribal Cheese may be the OK 24/7 champion, but he's really been the guy that's been front and center, almost like the top guy in many ways. Everybody talks about the Tribal Cheese. I would even argue that they've talked about more for the Tribal Cheese than when you were the world underground champion. So you're going to have even further incentive, further motivation. And also, once again, it's a 10-person battle royal. So when we know when that bell rings, it's going to be you, it's going to be him, and now there's nobody else that can get in the way of what you want, and that's got to be exactly to your advantage, and that's why this time you've got the advantage, unlike last month.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you said, straight off the bat, it's going to be me and him. We can go blow for blow. Anyone else, like I said, is collateral. Doesn't matter who you are. You've got no relevance in this battle royal. You're in the way. That's all it is.
And I would have to think also something else that you may not want me to bring up, but I'll bring it up anyway. I mean, you've got the age advantage on him. You're younger, you're stronger, you're faster, you're better. I know you kind of talked about those things, but we know in this sport, it's a young man's game. The Tribal Cheese certainly could cut his corners. That's with Alfie Nerds and Mr. Barris and Beelzebub, but maybe it doesn't work with the man who is the new generation. You're the man that's the next wave in this sport. And the Tribal Cheese is trying to keep up as the chat of the table with the times. But Hybrid, the Pitbull, maybe it's you that the Tribal Cheese can't outrun anymore. Because really, in a lot of ways, you're the younger version of him.
I'm the upgrade. Cheese molds. It gets stinky. I'm just going to keep evolving. I'll just keep better. One thing I'll say, and I'm not going to drop any names, and I know what we do, it's a dangerous profession, it's a dangerous sport, but I have a match, I come backstage, within 10 minutes, I can have another match. I feel like the Terminator. I'm indestructible. I've never been injured.
Oh, baby, the Terminator. Think about it. Everybody's talking about Beekeeper right now. This Beekeeper movie, this indestructible CIA agent turns out and tries to basically get even for all the people, all the victims that have been defrauded. But yet we've got the 2024 potential blockbuster star of the wrestling world, not a Chet at the table who needs to be acknowledged. It's a Terminator who's indestructible and who's a machine. In fact, he's not even half man, half machine. He's all machine. He's a pit bull. And they say what happens when a pit bull goes out and he gets unleashed, destroys everything in his way. And next Saturday, CCW, Carnage 3, the Tribal Cheese, and the other 8 participants are very well going to be collateral damage. Almost like that movie that Terminator named Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in 2022. Hybrid is having a lot of technical difficulties, so let's try to say hello to everybody here first. Yes, we're watching this closely, but Hybrid's having a lot of technical difficulty issues, and I hope that he fixes that. DJB, how are you? I know that Ronnie has a show in about 45 minutes for Mr. Carnage, so we're going to make sure that we get off the air before that. Want to give a big shout out to a lovely lady out there, Jules NYC. Jules, I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day. I hope that Cupid shoots an arrow for you, and I'm sure that somebody out there will be a special someone for you and would like to wish you a very happy Valentine's Day. And hopefully you get a very, very nice set of roses. You get a box of chocolate. I'm sure Hybrid is going to certainly try to shoot his Cupid arrow towards you, but I can promise you that I have no doubt that there is a lucky man out there that will be doing that for you instead. And I hope that you have a very beautiful Valentine's Day, as beautiful as you are, which we have no doubt, and I have no doubt that is true. Want to say hello to Jam Dog, of course, our Carnage Hardcore champion, who's going to certainly have his work cut out to keep his championship, but also he's going to have a man that we're going to have on here coming up next Monday night that is Sugar Ray Taylor. He is live, 8 o'clock British Standard Time. He is going to talk all things related to Carnage 3. He's going to talk about Mr. Carnage himself. He's going to talk about Jam Dog, who's going to be a very, very busy man these next several weeks. And Jam Dog is going to be back with us here next week to take his place in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. He had technical difficulties, and we hope that we will see if Hybrid can fix those issues that he had. So the tribe needs better Wi-Fi. Well, we're working on it. Obviously, things do happen. Things do happen for other parts of the world that they have definitely tough difficulties. I want to say hello to A-Dog here. Yeah, A-Dog's, by the way, you're going to be in the Battle Royal next Saturday, and I have no doubt that you're going to have something else to say, and I definitely want to get you on Sportswire Radio here very soon in the next few weeks, because I think you have a couple things to talk about, because you also had an incident with Rico Justice where maybe you guys could be going to the dark side and talking about that, so stay tuned. I'm not investing in hybrid internet service. If he ever starts a Wi-Fi company, somebody's a stand-up comic. And we love Brent because Brent does a great job doing logos and designs, and he does a lot of work for our very good friend, our Hall of Famer, newest one, Mr. James Taylor, the Nemesis. And Hybrid, do you have those internet technical difficulties fixed? I hope, my friend, because we all want to talk to you tonight. Hybrid. Hybrid. Hi. Are you there? Hybrid. Hybrid. Hopefully you can fix some of these things here, because we're really looking forward to speaking with you, and it's not going too well so far. Rico Justice is here. I'm going to try to parcel comments, and looking forward to sharing more time with you in the ring on the 24th. Yes, I would love to talk about that, but and I'm looking forward to Sugar Ray Taylor. But Hybrid, let's see if we can unmute your mic. We can't unmute your mic because your mute is your mic, your mute mic, whatever else in between is also not working. So I hope that you work out here. But A-Dog's got a funny line here. Hybrid is a CCW technical machine. Not gonna lie, I'll give him his props, but his Wi-Fi got stuck loading up his Cryvid program. Well, it's an unfair burn. It's a really unfair. But, I mean, unfortunately, we're having a really hard time hearing you right now, and I'm hoping you fix this, Hybrid, because we really want to hear from you. And Mr. Barris is here, and yes, we're wiping the tears away. And I saw Iron Claw. It was a great, great interview, great movie. And this is the best interview. Well, we've had hybrid on Jams. We've had hybrid on what I want to say 4 or 5 times over the years. I mean, you really think this is the best one? Is it the best one because it's the least amount of things he's had to say, or it's the least amount of things he's talked about when it comes to management disrespecting him or in the locker room? I mean, I don't know what more else I could say. And Tribal Cheese says hilarious. Well, I mean, I guess in this case, if hybrid Wi-Fi is going to be exactly what it's going to be like next Saturday for him in the 10-person battle royal, I mean, it should be pretty easy for Tribal Cheese and everybody else to eliminate hybrid. So it looks to me like if hybrid's Wi-Fi is going to be like this next Saturday, I mean, it's pretty much going to be almost like a push of a button, like when your internet shuts down and basically you're turning off your computer. Hybrid's going to be turned off here. Hybrid, do we have better internet connection, I hope? Do we have better internet, hybrid? Because you are certainly having a tough time tonight. Are you there? Hello.
I can
hybrid.
see you and everything. I can't hear you.
All right. Let me think here. Let me think of a scenario here. You're probably having a Wi-Fi connection. Are you on a phone or a laptop? Oh, you know what? We're just having a lot of fun tonight on Sportswire. You know, this might be the most fun show. You know, maybe this is a way, maybe this is Cupid shooting his arrow toward hybrid and everybody else in attendance tonight that, you know what, maybe we should be out there giving that special someone a bouquet of roses or a candy, or maybe taking them to anyone but you. I mean, well, certainly maybe not take your significant other to anyone but you, because they'll look at Sydney Sweeney on the screen and say, you know what, I think that's who I want to have my Valentine's Day with. But obviously, all kidding aside, we really hope hybrid fixes this. But I have a feeling that he's not going to be able to fix this tonight. But I want to, while we have some time, actually open something up. But hybrid, I hope you can fix this. And are you okay? And the big question has to be, is the Tribal Cheese playing with your Wi-Fi? Yeah, I mean, are you your internet being poisoned by cheese? I mean, has cheese been put in your internet modem, or if that's still such a thing, or is maybe some cheese has been put next to your, I don't know, whatever it might be that connects your internet to us on Sportswire Radio, because this is really not what we hoped for. This is Botchamania. Yeah, this is definitely Botchamania, to say the least. This is definitely not what we had hoped for with you. Part of me says, yeah, I can't hear you at all. I mean, I don't hear anything from you. You want to turn your camera off? Maybe if you turn your camera off, and that might work. Let's see. I'm going to give you a comment. Turn off camera. Turn off camera. Let's try that. Yeah, this is definitely one for the ages. It's just not what we hoped for. Listen, things happen. And yes, Rico, by the way, let's mention some other people who are going to be in the 10-person battle royal next Saturday. You got Rico Justice. You got Bat Pigeon. You got A-Dog. You got Johnny Flashback. You got Bat Pigeon. You got some really big names. And if you're on YouTube, go subscribe to CCW, caps lock CCW UKN, Northeast lowercase, Facebook Colory Championship Wrestling, CCW Coming Out Championship Wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling, and also Patreon for CCW. Make sure you support all those great links, all those great platforms. In about less than 40 minutes from now, Ronnie Thatcher on his channel, on his Facebook page, which is going to be streamed now on the CCW and the Carnage Championship Wrestling Facebook groups, is going to do another One Bite to Dust, his tribute to Mr. Carnage, our fallen brother, our mentor, our friend, our hero, Sean Duffy. And to remind people, this 10-person battle royal, the winner of it is going to win the trophy in honor of Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy. And we're going to see another number of tribute matches. We're going to have Jam Dog and Sugar Ray Taylor, who's going to be here Monday night. We're going to also have Logan Black and Walker Wall Street, an elite matchup, Logan's final match. Let's see if we can get this going here, because I can't even find my mouse. There we go. Hybrid, how are you?
I can hear you now. You were coming up. I just couldn't hear a word you were saying, no matter how many times I left.
All right, so
I can see your face.
Well, I'm sure most people don't want to see my face at this point. I'm sure that certainly could be the case, but
It's cheesy
Well,
because being messing around with.
let's go straight to the point because I know people having fun at your expense. I have no doubt that next Saturday your Wi-Fi is not going to be a problem. You're going to connect some uppercuts and a few other jabs and a few other strikes that you usually do, maybe a spear or two while you're at it. When it comes to the other 9 participants in this battle royal, so talk to me though. Let's go straight to the point. Let's leave Tribal Cheese out for a second. What would it mean to you next Saturday to win the 10-person Battle Royal Memorial to win the Mr. Carnage Sean Duffy Trophy?
Well, I'm going to be real. I never met Sean. I'm not going to pretend I knew who was. Um, obviously I know is what he left behind. Obviously his kids. Obviously being a dad myself, like, hits hard. I think more so the fact that in regards to something so big like that, it would really get me back on track momentum wise, especially having space with the tribal chat.
Well, okay, all right. I mean, obviously, I could certainly understand and sympathize some of that, and obviously, it's a father is a man. Let's do that. I want to say hello to my buddy Brian Cummings. Yes, Brian, message me. You can message me when I'm off the air. I'm on Facebook at Tom Brush. I think we're friends on Facebook anyway, and also give a sub to my page at Sportswire Radio 6579. And yeah, I'd love to talk deathmatch wrestling in Deep South. Just message me when I'm off the air. Give me a DM on Facebook. I think we're friends on Facebook. I'm at Tom Bryce on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. So definitely you can try that for sure. And I love to talk with you. We can make it an interview happen very easily. So we'll try to parcel through as much as what we can from you tonight. In 2024, as I stated, has not been the year that you've hoped for so far. But I also think there's motivation knowing now that the Tribal Cheese
Yeah.
has a championship. He has, well, or I don't even think I hear you right now. Maybe you want to try to restart your phone. If you have tried that, if you want to turn your phone off, bring it back on, because we're just having a really hard time hearing from you. And I would feel bad to continue this conversation the way it is. If there's a better time, we can, do the interview, or if you're around, I mean, I would love to restart it, but I mean, I'm really having a hard time hearing you at the moment. If you want to try to restart your phone, because we don't want the locker room to really make you look even any further as a punchline as it is. They're going to really add it. They're going to continue this whole crybaby storyline, and they're going to really make you look even more as difficult as you are. It's tough, Spiders. This is not your fault at all. I mean, we'll let you try to restart one more time. So if you want to restart your computer or restart your phone, if you're on a phone, please try to do that. Otherwise, I would say let's restart or redo the interview on another date. So I'm going to remove this. But while I'm here right now, I have something that I want to open up actually from the Tribal Cheese. So let's make this a little bit fun and interactive. So obviously, if you saw Monday night, I posted on my Instagram and Facebook. We have this package here from the Tribal Cheese. This is from him. This is the Tribal Cheese, so you can see it. You can see all my information here that has this package, and I have not opened this yet, as you can clearly see, and I have no idea what this is. So before I get to some comments, if you want to hang out, have some fun, I am going to open something for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, those that are fans of the Tribal Cheese, maybe even detractors of the Tribal Cheese, and especially for those that are fans of Sportswire Radio and the CCW locker room, I am going to open right now what the Tribal Cheese, our head of the table, our OK 24/7 champion, has given yours truly, the host of the Sports Report, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce, this package. So hang on tight, and let's get some live reactions and tell me what you think when I open up this package here. So let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's read off this note from the tribal cheese, first of all, because this, I think, is more important than anything else. So let's take a look at this. Here you go. This is the letter. So let's read this off. To my good friend, keep doing a great job. I got you a promo card from the entire set of the CCW roster. You never know if any of us get to the next level. Thank you for being a good friend. I look forward to a show in the future. Best wishes, the Big Cheese. Acknowledge the one-off bobblehead Paris one. Well, I mean, I want to say this. I'm definitely very touched, and this is the letter here from the Tribal Cheese. So if you'd like to read it off, I'm going to certainly put this here. So this is from the Tribal Cheese. Thank you, Mr. Tribal Cheese. And certainly this is why you are our chat of the table. And this is why we acknowledge you. But also, since you gave me something, right? I want to give you something, especially for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio. Before I show what he gave me, the next time you come on the show, my friend, since you gave me something, I'm going to give you something, and I'm going to give you a spot in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. How does that sound, my friend? So I hope that we can make a fair trade, right? How does that sound? But I have Hybrid back on here, and I'm going to show some of these pictures in a second. And Hybrid, let's see. Hybrid, I actually got something from the Tribal Cheese. I read off in the meantime, giving you some time, or is in wrestling, buying time for you to come back on. But do you have any better connection at the moment? I don't even hear you. I don't even hear you at the moment. So what I'm going to try to do is let's go through all these different cards. Let's go through them here first. Johnny Flashback. Johnny, you're the man. Definitely thank you for that. Damian James and Nate Sawyer. Damian James, a newcomer in CCW. And this is pretty cool, I got to say. I think this one is the one I would be most curious for somebody to actually have in their collection. And Nate Sawyer, a man that the true, certainly most feared man in CCW. There's another one from Nate Sawyer. Oh, speaking of the Reverend, I mentioned Reverend. There we go. There's the Reverend. Hybrid, I hope we can hear you because actually I got this from you, Hybrid. So, I mean, actually, I know you can hear me. I can't hear you, but, how do you look, by the way, in this shot here, by the way? What do you think? I guess you can't hear us. Well, that's, Speaking of Hall of Famers, we got Ronnie Thatcher, Reggie Thatcher, although Reggie's not a Hall of Famer yet. Speaking of somebody, Adrian Black. Adrian Black here, one half of the tag team champions. In this photo, he's got the Light in the Dark championship, but he's actually not the Light in the Dark champion currently. Ronnie Thatcher, the gentleman thug himself. There we go. And I think Ronnie's going to have a show in about 30 minutes. I'm going to let people actually go and watch that show. There's Damian James. I like the hat, by the way. Don't you, everybody? Don't you like the hat? Walker Wall Street. Walker's been coming on here for a long time. Walker always looks like he's in thought. Maybe he's from Wall Street. I asked him that all the time, and he says he's not. Alfie Nerds. By the way, we got to give this here. We got to certainly acknowledge Bray. Look at this mugshot, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this, man. Doesn't this look like a Hall of Famer? Doesn't this look like somebody that's going to take his place in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame? Doesn't this look like the OK 24/7 champion? Doesn't this look like the chat of the table? Doesn't this look like the most well-known big man in this sport? Doesn't this look like the one person that show after show after show gets people after people after people to come, and fan after fan that signs and brings them and everybody else in between? So this is the man that you need to go follow on YouTube at Mad Manx. And by the way, isn't he friends with a couple people named, I don't know, John Cena, Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes? Yeah, he's going to finish his story, right? Bobby Lashley and Matt Damon. I mean, everybody saw the Matt Damon commercial with Dunkin' Donuts if you're out there in the U.S. And this is a man that we certainly want to acknowledge. And in fact, we acknowledge him so much, we got 2 photos from him. And guess what? We're going to make sure that this is put on the Sportswire Radio website page and also on all Sportswire Radio platforms when we're off the air here. So you're gonna see this coming real soon. So yeah, definitely. This is the old photo, by the way. This you could tell is the old photo. This is pre Chat at the Table because I remember this when the Tribal Cheese was first coming on to Sportswire Radio. Logan Black, and I like this one here. Logan Black, nice one. Our buddy Rico Justice. Rico, very nice. And by the way, this might be, I hear from a birdie, the locker room's favorite one. I'm sorry, I can't. I know we're finishing up. I promise you, Hybrid. Let's see. The CEO Barris. Now that looks more like Mr. Barris. Dustin Hart, very touching. Dustin's going to be back on the show here very soon. Maybe even tomorrow if he's not doing anything. And Belzebub, I think Belzebub's been watching Sportswire and all the things I've said about the Tribal Cheese. So let's see if Hybrid, I can get you going. Hybrid, are you there? Hybrid.
I don't know. I don't know, Tom.
Well, we're going to try it here. I mean, we're going to try to do the best we can here. But obviously, let me pull back up your photo. Let me see if we can hear you here because I thought your photo was actually... You look good in this one. You didn't take this one, though, when you were the underground champion. This is not like the underground champion, Hybrid. But what do you think about your photo here? What do you think about the photo? Oh, I guess we're having a lot of problems here tonight. I'm gonna go through these. Spawn, Lilac region, and you know what, A-Dog, if you're out there, message me after we're off the air because you know what, I actually think I got a slot open tomorrow, and I probably have a slot open next week. We can certainly fit in you coming on to Sportswire Radio because I really like your message here. And Dagan, by the way, Dagan I've had on once every 2 years, and this pretty much looks like a Dagan autograph. Here's Persona. Persona, a rising star, had his great match against the one and only Davey Blaze, so I really appreciate those things. Hybrid. Hi. Hi, are you there, Hybrid? I want to say, Hybrid, maybe we should do this a different day at a different time because I really feel like I'm only making you look even further more difficult to be on here as it is. So
when I had bad Wi-Fi.
You want to? Why don't we redo this? Why don't we I tell you what. Why don't we do this before next Saturday? If you could give me a day and a time, let's redo the interview. Because I think obviously I feel very bad for you. You're in a really difficult spot. I don't think this is going to work out tonight. So before we figure that out, don't forget to mention the Carnage Memorial.
I can't hear anything. So just so I'm going to drop out just because I can't hear a word.
I was going to say, we're going to let you drop out. Hybrid, I'll talk to you another time. And let me get to A-Dog here. Don't forget to mention the Carnage Memorial Cup becomes Carnage Rules when it comes down to the Final Four. Either way, your boy is going to have it, weapon on hand, all in the honor of Carnage, absolutely. And I just want to, one more time, read off this letter before we sign off and say, to my good friend, keep doing a great job. I got you a promo card from the entire set of the CCW roster. You never know if any get to the next level. Well, you know what? Let me just address that. They all are on the next level. You know why? Because Sportswire Radio is the official home of CCW. And in my opinion, as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters, CCW has made it to the next level because CCW is the only company that I can think of that has sellout after sellout. CCW is the only company that I can think of that has an active Facebook group with nearly 5,000 members, the only active company that has all different types of stuff that you see on social media, shows from the talent, storylines that are just some of the most forward-thinking, creative. Find me a company currently that has the type of storylines, the type of bounds that CCW goes through. It's endless. CCW, to me, is one of the best companies in the entire world, not just in the UK. And anybody else that tells you otherwise is jealous. They need to get their head examined and they clearly have no idea about all wrestling and why all wrestling matters. And CCW, in my book, is the greatest company out there. And in my book, for my money, I'll put CCW's company against any companies out there. And for my money and for my time, I would cut my right arm off for CCW. And as a matter of fact, I cut my left arm off for CCW. And I want to go and say it right here. I'm a James Barris guy. I'm proud to be a James Barris guy. And I'm proud to be a CCW supporter because I keep telling everybody it shouldn't be Colory Championship Wrestling. It should be Colory Community Wrestling. And we're going to continue to say it here on Sportswire Radio because all wrestling certainly matters. And CCW matters. And if you aren't following CCW, you should get your head examined. But in the meantime, before Ronnie goes to his show, I want people to follow CCW, Colory Championship _ Wrestling, Twitter at CCW UKNE, also YouTube, CCW UK Northeast, also Facebook, Colory Championship Wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling, Coming Out Championship Wrestling. Let me say hello to a few people before I bounce off the air and let everybody go and get ready for Ronnie Thatcher's show. Thank you, Jules. Yes, it was a very, very cheesy letter, but cheesy in a good way. So definitely, ye may say it ain't easy being cheesy, but that was definitely not easy being cheesy to read off the air because I can promise you that CCW and the Tribal Cheese are going to be the head and the ched of the Sportswire table for years and years and years to come. Yes, that was really very thoughtful, very nice. And that's why we're going to induct the Tribal Cheese into the Hall of Fame. And that's why we're also going to induct Jam Dog into the Hall of Fame. I think next Tuesday we're back on the air. So we got Sugar Ray Taylor Monday night. Jam's back next Tuesday. So we got a lot of great stuff. I think Dustin's going to be back here next Wednesday. So we're going to have Dustin here Wednesday. Going to have Jam Dog Tuesday. Going to have Monday Sugar Ray Taylor. And Friday I'm going to induct Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy in the Hall of Fame. My buddy Ron Franklin. Ron, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I saw your video on Instagram. That was pretty cool. Seeing you do some racing. That was nice. Drake Gold Dragon, how you doing? I'm going to be here Thursday night, tomorrow night with Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid. He's going to talk about his open challenge. He's probably going to talk about you. Very unfortunate. Yes, wonderful care package. I really, really wish we would have had hybrid on the air. But this is the best hybrid interview. I don't know about that, but, obviously, I want people to go in about 20 minutes to go get ready for Ronnie Thatcher's very, very important show. I'm going to be watching it, and I may pop on there. It's up to Ronnie and DJB if they want me to say a couple things about Mr. Carnage and Friday's show next week. I'd be more than happy to do that. If you're on YouTube here at Sportswire Radio for the first time, give us a sub. We've got over 500 subscribers. We're on Facebook at Sportswire Radio. If you're a gamer, if you're on Twitch, I'm at Sportswire Radio now, so I'd like for you to subscribe to our Twitch account. We get all these shows here also on our Twitch account for you. Also, I'm on, again, Facebook at Sportswire Radio, Tumblr at Sportswire Radio. We have an internet radio station 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year on sportswireradio.org. If you have a podcast, have anything else that you'd like to broadcast, and if you even want to get in touch with me, just to say hello. I know, obviously, our new hashtag in CCW has been, it's okay to talk, and it's okay to talk to me anytime. You have any questions, any problems, anybody's going through something. I know mental health's been a big issue right now. Tribal Cheese has talked about it. DJB's talked about it. James Barris has talked about it. Obviously, Ronnie Thatcher's talked about it. We're all obviously going through things in the world. I mean, I'm not going through anything compared to everybody else is, but if you do want to get in touch with me, you can DM me anytime on Facebook at Tom Bryce. Also, I'm at ThomasBryce15 at yahoo.com. I'm at ThomasBryce2015 at Outlook.com. And one more time, we definitely acknowledge our head of the table, the Tribal Cheese. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling. We apologize again on behalf of Hybrid, his technical difficulty issues. I will be back on the air for sure tomorrow. We may actually have somebody come on from CCW, so stay tuned for that. I will definitely be back, though. Monday night, Sugar Ray Taylor. Tuesday, Jam Dog. Wednesday, tentatively going to bring on Dustin Hart. Friday, I'm going to be here to induct Mr. Carnage himself, Sean Duffy. So we'll let anybody in the locker room talk about that. Get you ready for Carnage 3 and also the 10-person Battle Memorial. One more time. Again, the Final Four goes to Carnage Rules, so definitely we'll talk about that for sure. Coming up here on Friday, if you're here, by the way, I want to give a big plug because Friday night, New York time, I'm going to be streaming my first ever live wrestling match on Sportswire Radio between DKW and IMF. It's going to be DKW World Champion Joe Stones. By the way, celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, buddy, Friday. And Freddie Daniels. Freddie is challenging for a number of different things coming up at King of the Center, but he's going to be here live wrestling. And also, we're going to be talking with a guy, Chris Levitt, Jake Carnage, Necro Daddy. Maybe it's the three faces of Chris Levitt. He's back here live, 8 o'clock British Standard Time. You will not want to miss that one. If you were here the first time when Chris Levitt was here, you wait until what he has to say for round 2. Plus, I'm going to have more announcements. But again, thank you so much to our brother, our dear friend, the Tribal Cheese, but also thank you to everybody in CCW. And I acknowledge CCW as the number one company around where all wrestling matters. And CC Dub, CC Dub, CC Dub, CC Dub. Thank you, everybody. Let's get ready for Ronnie Thatcher's show in about 15 or so minutes. I hope to be there. You should be there as well. And honor our brother, Mr. Carnage, Sean Duffy. We're looking up above, and we know you're watching us. And thank you for all that you've done in laying the groundwork for CCW to be the company that it is. Thank you for all the advice that you gave. You really weren't elite. You really weren't CWO. You really weren't top tier. You were truly all wrestling that mattered. You truly were colory community wrestling. You weren't just elite. You weren't just top tier. You weren't just CWO. You were all of it above. And that's why you are the definition of what CCW is. Thank you so much for all you've done. I can't wait to be back on the show Friday night with more coverage. And maybe I'll see everybody on another One Bites the Dust in a little while. But until then, all wrestling matters. And I'll see everybody very soon. And go over to Ronnie's page and check that out. Thank you.